with that being said, we're gonna get into some of the weekly previews that we have for next week. First game that we're gonna get into is the Chargers Browns game. The Chargers are favored by -3, and they're playing away. They're playing at the Browns. Should be an interesting game. I think it can go either way, really, because
Yeah.
you have the Browns' run game and Jacoby Brissett. He's not a phenomenal quarterback, but he does enough, and he does what he has to do. And I think they just lost to the Falcons, and I think that's kind of gonna give them a little bit of an edge. And the Chargers, they they struggled with the Texans, but again, it's kind of we have to kind of see where they stand because it's like that should have been a gimme game, and they let
Yeah,
the Texans come back.
it's weird because obviously that game Herbert was still struggling with the
With the injury.
injury to his ribs and all that, and they played better last game and they got the win, but yeah, it'll be tough to see, you know, where is Herbert in that recovery process? Is he
Yeah,
going to be okay where he's not struggling and it's not affecting him? Will the Browns be able to put the pressure and get some hits and really, shake him up? We saw in the Chiefs game when he did get injured.
yeah, that was tough.
It looked like on one of those, I think it was like a third down pass where he just looked like he just got drilled right before it. He was already injured. We knew he was injured. It looked like it affected his play and being able to make the right decision and throw the right pass there. So yeah, I mean, I think like you said, this one is kind of an even game with where both of these teams stand right now. Obviously, the Chargers are way more explosive on offense. The Browns probably, with a little bit better of a defense and can really chew that clock up on the
Yeah,
ground with that 1-2 punch there with Chubb and Hunt. And they could really kind of, eat up all that time and keep the ball out of Herbert's hands, make it
right.
hard for them when they do get the ball. It's hard to get going, and yeah,
Yeah, and then you have to look at the fact that you have Miles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney coming off the edge, and no Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater's out for the season, so that's
mm,
going to be a huge factor. Um, and that's not something that you want to be dealing with. You don't want to be dealing with one of the number one pass rushers in the league
mm,
as a quarterback with messed up ribs. So again, we'll see how that pans out. I would not be surprised if the Browns come out on top. This is a game that I can see the Browns winning, but again, this is we'll see what happens. Another interesting game that we have is the Cowboys versus the Rams. The Rams are favored right now. I believe
mm.
they're favored by -6. The line could have changed by then.
Yeah, it changed slightly. It's the Rams went to -4.5.
Okay,
So
that
people have
makes
been,
sense. They have their doubts. Yeah.
Cowboys fans, they're high on Cooper Rush and
Hey, I think Cooper Rush is something to be high on, not for
mhm.
nothing. I mean,
Something to be high on.
I mean, it's weird because there's obviously some differences in him and Dak's play, but Dak plays very hesitant, it seems like, and Cooper Rush takes what the defense gives him. And sometimes that can be a benefit in just not overextending plays. If the play is there, take it. If it's not, then live for another down. And I think that's what Cooper Rush does great. And I think Kellen Moore likes that. I think Kellen Moore appreciates that. And Dak is on he's rushing to come back. I think he doesn't want to lose his job, but I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, Dak is over here talking about, yeah, I'm trying to get back this week. And the Cowboys like, no, no, don't worry, Dak. We
yeah,
got
take your
it.
sweet time.
Yeah.
Take your sweet time. And again, maybe this may be the downfall of Cooper Rush, and they may ice down the hype a little bit with the Rams. They probably want to get back on track. But again, we'll see what happens, and hopefully the Rams can come back and try to take care of business against the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Rams are a team that, we talked about earlier. They've kind of had their struggles this year, kind of not really been able to show that they're the same team as last year so far.
Yeah,
But, they get a Cowboys team with a backup quarterback. Cooper Rush is playing well. He's still a backup. He's not somebody who's going to just light you up, right? He's more of game manager mode plus sometimes where okay, he's a game manager, but he can let it fly a little bit
Yeah.
and for certain time periods of the game. And the Rams, I mean, look, both of these teams have solid defenses this year.
Yeah, the Cowboys have a great front four.
Yeah,
So
and the Rams defense is still good. This is a game where this is at home for the Rams. This is a game where if I'm the Rams, I look at this like, yeah, we there's no reason why we don't win
we
this
don't
game,
win this game,
right?
yeah.
I don't care that Cooper Rush is a little bit hot right now. This is a game that we need to win. We have things we have to
They have
fix.
to
We
get
have
back
to
on
get back on
track,
track. Yeah.
especially they have to be able to get once Van Jefferson comes back, that'll alleviate a little bit more on Cooper Cup, a little bit more on Allen Robinson. But I mean, I don't know. With the way that their blocking has been, their line has been really suspect. The Cowboys front four, I mean, not Dexter Lawrence, Michael Parsons is just like he's playing lights out, and it
Mm.
just opens up a lot for that entire D
Look,
line. So
we talked about we kind of recapped that Rams 49ers game earlier. Something I didn't even mention. The 49ers had 7 sacks in that game.
yeah, that's
So
tough.
now you come in and you have another defense
Right.
that's very good. And Michael Parsons is just a man possessed out there.
Yeah, and
He's going to, if he's not getting sacks,
he's gonna get
he's
somebody
getting
else.
pressures and he's
Yeah.
getting hits or he's freeing up somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's the part with the Rams that they'll have to figure out. I mean, like I said, they should be looking at this game as a game that they are supposed to win.
Yeah.
But they need to have the game plan to deal with these guys. And like you said, their line's struggling. They gotta find a way to overcome that.
Yeah, they have to pick that up. And another team that needs to pick up some things after a tough loss is the Ravens. The Ravens are versing the Bengals at home, and the Ravens are -3 favorite right now. I think the Bengals, they're starting to get back on track. I think Joe Burrow is starting to pick it back up again. I do think they're legit. I do think the Bengals are still somebody to worry about in the AFC. They're starting to get some continuity with that line, and that can be a problem. That can be an issue, especially with how the Ravens defense has been playing lately. If the Ravens fire off and they start playing well how they did in the beginning of the Bills game, then I think they have little to worry about, but they have to sustain that throughout the entire game. And Lamar has to play he has to play to be honest, he has to play a little bit better. You have to be able to put up points. You can't be putting up 20 points and not being able to finish drives, not being able, you're doing extending too much, doing too much. Like if it's not there, throw it away. If it's, I don't know. I just think Ravens -3, I would take it only because also the Ravens have been kind of fed up with the Bengals. Bengals have been talking crazy, and the Ravens had barely half of their team last year, so that's probably something that they want to get revenge from. But we'll see what happens on Sunday. So
Yeah, I think the Ravens come into this game. We saw them blow 2 leads already. One to the Bills, one of the best teams. One to the Dolphins, possibly one of the best up and coming teams with how they're looking with a healthy Tua. I think in this game you have a Bengals team that did just go to the Super Bowl. They were kind of the surprise team last year. This is a divisional game. Like you said, there's bad blood between these teams. The Ravens are at home. They want to win this game. They're gonna be focused. They're not happy that they lost last week. I like the Ravens here to come out and handle business. Not let their foot off the gas, and like we talked about earlier, find a way to finish games and close it out.
yeah, they have to.
They kind of need to here. You can't pick up more losses this early in the season
Yeah,
and still with everything that's been going on. I mean, Lamar has still been playing great. He's still been playing at that caliber as one of the better players in the league here. You got to find a way to string things together and not waste
not
the
waste that.
performances of some of these guys and come out with a win here at home against a divisional opponent that we know these games matter in a division that Yeah, I mean, look, the Steelers look to be more in a down year this year, but
Love it.
they're not going away, right? They're
Yeah.
nobody's going away here. The Browns are they're still the Browns, but they're better.
Yeah, and
They're
once
not
Deshaun
giving it
Watson
away.
comes back, we'll see what
The
happens.
Bengals, they're coming off a year where they just, went to the Super Bowl. So, and then you're the Ravens, you're a team that should have been going deep into the playoffs last year if you weren't dealing with other issues. So, look, this is a division where all these teams are kind of going to be,
Tough teams. The
tough
AFC North
teams.
is always a
Yeah,
tough
it's
division,
always
regardless of the
tough. It's
circumstances.
probably even tougher now with the somewhat rise of the Browns and the somewhat decline of the Steelers, right? It kind of makes them all a little bit closer to the middle here. So yeah, this is a Ravens team that, coming into the season, I think probably more of a favorite to win this division than the rest of them. They have a chance here to get a win that's going to matter a lot. So
Yeah.
I see the Ravens capitalizing here, and I think they'll be able to cover the spread as well.
Yeah. So